Hi guys, this is gsnhome.com and I'm here with the review of the Apple iPhone X. Yes, we have it, we've tested it, and now it's time to reveal its results. So we're dealing here with a handset that for the first time opts for stainless steel, glass at the back, glass at the front, and an AMOLED panel up front for Apple. Well, that's a first. It's got the Face ID thing going on here, and it's priced starting from $999. Let's talk about the design first. Well, I have to say that the phone started selling from November 3rd. It's quite fresh, and it combines a stainless steel metal frame, which reminds me of the Xiaomi Mi 6, with a glass facade protected against scratches and with an oleophobic coating, and a glass back as well. The back camera protrudes quite a bit, so much so that I would have a problem putting it on a flat surface because it would actually drag on it. Now, the device, well, doesn't exactly feel premium. This stainless steel glossy thing is not my favorite cup of tea. I'm more passionate about a matte aluminum frame. Anyways, let's move past that and proceed to the other aspects of the handset. Okay, so we are dealing here with a phone that measures 7.7 millimeters in thickness, which is slightly slimmer than the Galaxy S8, but also a bit thicker than the iPhone 8 Plus. However, it's about 30 grams lighter than the iPhone 8 Plus, and it's very easy to wield with a single hand, in spite of the fact it has a 5.8-inch OLED screen. It's quite well built, it's got IP67 certification for water and dust resilience, and it's comfy to use for sure. It's got a big power button, which is comfy, it's got these volume buttons here, and in general I was happy with the build quality and the ergonomics, but this stainless steel frame, not my cup of tea. Now on the screen front, we got a Super Retina OLED Dolby Vision HDR10 screen crammed to the brim with novelty. It's got a 1:1 contrast ratio, and it's quite immersive, even though it has this notch here at the top, which may take the experience down a notch. Anyways, a typical resolution of the Retina kind, and if you want to check out the video playback, we have a special sample here for you, which we usually use for our tests. So that's it. As you can see, the notch bothers us a bit. I'm happy with the color choice. The colors feel somewhere between IPS and OLED. They do not pop out like they do on a Samsung Super AMOLEDs. They're more limited in that regard. Got wide view angles, pretty good contrast in the sunlight, and a pretty high brightness. Once again, the colors are well calibrated. They do not pop out as much as the Super AMOLED. Some people dig those, some people don't. The brightness is quite high here. It goes at around 570 lux units. It surpasses the iPhone 8 Plus by about 70 units and also beats quite a few other phones, but it's surpassed by the iPhone 6s in the brightness. Pixels have a pretty atypical setup. They're a diamond pentile matrix of the sorts. Now, as far as the hardware is concerned, this handset provides an Apple A11 Bionic CPU, 3GB of RAM, and 64 or 256GB of storage. There's zero lag here. I absolutely had no problem with the lag, did not encounter any trace of it, well, aside from the random bugs that happened here and there. And we also play some games like Asphalt Extreme, and because of the notch here, it leaves some black portions on the screen, as you can see, so not the best integration on the display. Asphalt Extreme, here we go. Okay. It's loading up, play. I'm going to have to opt for this, tap to steer, and that's what the game looks like on the iPhone X. Pretty good frame rate, nice lighting effects, but the fact that it does not go full screen kind of bothers me. Nice looking water, and I have to say it actually reminds me of my PS3, which is no small feat. Okay, we did a nitro, and that's what the gaming is like on the phone, and we also did a bunch of benchmarks. Let's check them out. As you can see, now since we don't have a home button, we have to use that special bar at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so I said benchmarks before. Let's check them out. Here we go. So these are the results. They're very close to the iPhone 8. Actually, the iPhone 8 may be a bit superior in the multi-core test. 4,252, 10,224. We beat the Galaxy Note 8 for sure, and we also had an Antutu test, which blows everything out of the water. Once again, maybe except for the iPhone 8, but that one has a smaller resolution, 205,000. And then there's this one for the graphical part, Slingshot Extreme from 3D Mark, 2,607. Surprisingly, the Galaxy Note 8 wins here by 30 points, so it can be beaten in the end. Enough with the performance, it's time to talk about the battery of the phone. But before the battery of the phone, I have to mention something. While running intensive benchmarks, this side of the phone tends to get heated a bit, not overheating, but still slightly hotter than usual. Okay, so battery. 2716 mAh, and it offers us a video playback time of around 13 hours, which is quite solid. Beats the iPhone 8 Plus and it's 12 hours and 34 minutes. Also beats the Google Pixel XL, and it scores below the Galaxy Note 8 and iPhone 6s Plus. With continuous usage, you should be able to get 9 or 10 hours of continuous fun, while the Galaxy Note 8 offered 9 hours and 14 minutes. And in standby mode, if you go to sleep for 8 hours, you lose about 5 or 6% of juice. And I myself, waking up at around 9 or 10 a.m., using the phone up to 3 p.m., I lost about 60% with 300 photos, 11 videos, constant email checking, some phone calls and some browsing. So by the way, let's go to gsandon.com. So the continuous usage, not very impressive. Other phones seem to handle it a bit better, but it's well within range for the rivals from HTC, LG and even Samsung. So about 9 hours of continuous usage, basically your whole work day and 1 extra hour of fun. Charging is done in 30 minutes for 50% with the fast charging thing, which requires a special accessory. Basically, you should spend around 2-3 hours juicing up the phone in normal mode with no fast charge. Enough with the battery. Let's talk acoustics. Stereo speakers, one at the bottom, one at the top, which is the earpiece. Let's put them to work with the usual copyright-free samples. Here we go. First things first, excellent volume, excellent bass, no vibration of the back, and also no distortion. This can fight any phone with stereo speakers out there. I can say it beats the Sony Xperia XZ1, it can fight the HTC U11 models on equal terms, and it comes bundled with a typical pair of Apple AirPods, which sit great in the ear. Not the loudest in the world, but still quite okay. Great stereophony for the bottom and top speaker. And the bass is the one that really gets me. It's annoying to have to go here to set up the equalizer, but we've gotten accustomed to that over the years. Okay, time to talk about the cameras. So pretty familiar package at the back. Basically should be the same that we get on the iPhone 8 Plus. There are two 12 megapixel sensors here, one wide angle, one telephoto, f1.8 and f2.4, quad LED flash, dual OIS, optical zoom 2x, and 4K video at 60 frames per second. Selfies taken with a 7 megapixel camera at the front with f2.2 aperture. Let's check out the camera UI. It's just as we left it. Got your video mode, slow-mo, time-lapse, photo, there's portrait, square and panorama. And portrait can also be taken with the front camera. Well, the iPhone 8 Plus does not have that. So you can create beautiful portraits and special effects for your face. So you can blur the background or create special textures around your head. Sometimes your ears or parts of your face will be overlapped, so it doesn't always work perfectly. Now let's go to the actual shots we've taken with the camera. So these are some of my portrait shots. As you can see, things are blurry behind me and the face is highlighted, but my ear is also blurry as well as parts of the face. Now this is the portrait mode with the black and white. Sorry for the expression of the face, don't like photos. And this one is actually quite nice. This time the texture in the face and the 3D-ness of the face, so to say, is better highlighted. Okay, another portrait one. I have to say that they're very nice, especially those with the back camera. Those with the front camera, not so much, and I would say a bit gimmicky. Now let's see the actual shots we have taken with this camera. We have quite a few of them, more will be found in the full review. It catches a lot of details with this dual camera, not as many as the Sony Xperia that has 20 megapixels or 19 megapixels. I'm loving the clarity, the texture of the objects, the not curved panorama, the excellent dynamic range, perhaps even better than the Galaxy Note 8. It takes a while to focus properly in close-ups, which I was expecting from a dual camera phone. Quite good details, especially with optical zoom. Solid selfies, even if you don't play with that mode. This is an indoor shot, and I actually took this one as well with my iPhone 7, and it beats it by about 20%. My iPhone 7 creates a fog around this image, and that's about it. So we're happy with the dynamic range, the clarity, the lighting, but the close-ups and macros take a bit of work, and the selfies are very good. And this is a sample of the HDR, which really works. Okay, so that's daytime capture. Low light capture, sadly we didn't have much time, so we only took a few shots. I'm happy with the lighting, the clarity, and the size of the street lights. Several samples here and more in the review. I don't feel that this can beat a Galaxy Note 8 or even S8 though. Those catch more light, but this one has more realistic colors. Now, if you want to talk about the videos, we did a stabilization test and sadly, we were not impressed one bit. So let's check that out. Here we go. By the way, excellent microphone. So as you walk around and film, there will be some flickering and even a small attempt at refocusing, which is a big no-no. It's inferior to the Sony Xperia, Galaxy Note 8. It keeps the clarity and colors, but if you go into this area, which is darker, you will notice some grain, and the grain becomes clearer on the PC, which is a bit of a letdown. Once again, good microphone. If you really want to enjoy the camera, you're better left alone filming in 4K, 60 frames per second, and it will be perfect in clarity, colors, although the sky is a bit burnt, frame rate, whatever you want. If it's 4K, if it's 60 frames per second, it's got no rival, it's on par with any other phone. If you go to Full HD alone and expect great results, well, you shouldn't unless you're happy with a mid-ranger. And let's see another video, this one of a cat. Always nice to see a cat in action. This is a Full HD clip. And if you look at the grass, it's really burnt, not very detailed, which is a bummer because some other phones film quite well in Full HD. Okay, we're done with the camera, then talk about the connectivity and other aspects. So on the connectivity front, we got Bluetooth 5.0, Wi-Fi AC, MIMO, there's NFC, there's 4G LTE, and other things we're mentioning, GPS, Galileo, GLONASS, VoLTE, Wi-Fi calling, and the lightning port at the bottom. There's no audio jack here at the bottom, no audio jack at the top, and we have an adapter in the mix, in the box, lightning to 3.5mm. So it takes some great calls, has an excellent microphone, excellent noise cancelling, I have to say that. Did a bunch of speed tests and they're not very impressive, but I'm blaming that more on the carrier, which is quite stressed in the time of the year. So on Wi-Fi, 68 megapers downloads, 72 uploads and a good ping. And on 4G 30 and 10, once again, I'm in a more edge urban area, so that's the cause of the speed. Now if you want to talk about the software experience, I'm going to have to focus on Face ID for once and almost the Animoki. So Face ID, I have actually activated it, you saw it in the unboxing, and it's basically like this. You unlock the phone, put your face close to it, it unlocks, you swipe up, and then you have the phone. Now if I look some other way, I'm not able to unlock the phone, it's trying to find my face, and I can enter a passcode to get past that. That's Face ID. It projects lots and lots of points via infrared with this sensor here on my face. It maps it in 3D and voila, you can unlock the phone sans fingerprint. Now let's talk about Animoki. So you go here, you want to get cute with someone, and it's mimicking my face. I'm moving my head right now. Hello, hello. Let's be a fox, let's be a monkey, and let's try this cute dog. Hey guys, this is Alex from gsmdom.com. Let's go again.
Hey guys, this is Alex from gsmdom.com. Hey guys, this is Alex from gsmdom.com.
That's one ugly poop emoji. Okay, so let's go back to what we were doing. So it runs iOS 11, which means a new control center, which can be triggered like this. And since we do not have a home button, you can use swiping up as the home button feature. So let's say you're inside Files, want to go home, you simply swipe up from the bottom and that's your home gesture. Now let's say you're in an app and want to do multitasking, swipe up and to the side, and that's your multitasking. Sadly, you cannot close apps with a swipe up. You have to keep pressed on them and close them like on the Windows when we used to press the small X's, and that's it. Okay, there's another gesture, swipe down from the top right screen, trigger control center. Other than that, it's pure iOS 11. Yes, we do have 3D touch. People have been asking me, do we still have 3D Touch on iPhone X? You bet we do. Okay, other than that, we got the smarter Siri triggered by keeping pressed the power button. Okay, so you cannot shut down the phone only by keeping pressed the power button. You have to press it together with the volume button, and only then you can shut down the phone. And you can shut down from the settings, believe it or not. Suppose your buttons break, you go here, you press shutdown, and you are all set. Other things we're mentioning, you go to notes, you can create tables now, you can take a photo of a document, remove its borders and the glare. Apple Pay is available in messages. There are 3 live photo options, so if you go to a live photo, you swipe it up, you got loop, bounce and long exposure. You got new memories and new arrangements for your pets and other things in the gallery. There's no more lock screen. Basically that one disappears. It's something that you can trigger down at any time. The widgets area remains unchanged. And let's see what else. Screenshots are now smarter. Take one like this. And there are a lot of editing options. You can resize it. You have a variety of pens, selection items, colors and things to play with. Okay, and we also have a feature called storage offload. So you can arrange your storage option, iPhone storage. This is it, offload unused apps. Okay, you can scan QR codes automatically with your camera. And Maps now shows you airports and malls, the inside of them. Safari is now able to remove tracking via cookies, from what I understood. And by the way, we actually got a huge result in SunSpider on Safari, something like 147 points, which is amazing. The keyboard has a wasted space at the bottom, but it's still well spaced in my view, but this one is a bummer. Speaking of bummer, if you install Google Maps on the iPhone X, a lot of wasted space here and here. Once again, big bummer. Also new in iOS 11, AR features, augmented reality, and the new App Store design. Got a today view, here, separate view for the games, for the apps, and that's about it. Now it's time for the verdict. Okay, so I promised you the verdict. On the Pro side, we've got the quality pictures taken with the main camera and the front camera, solid build of the phone, bright and immersive screen in spite of the notch, high performance, Face ID is reasonably snappy, although sometimes buggy, great acoustics, fantastic bass, okay battery, nice portrait with the back camera, fun and emoji, a snappy phone when it comes to the performance, and those have been the pros. Now, if you want to talk about the cons, well, the videos could be better, to be honest, especially the stabilization. Some bugs that appear in some parts of the interface have been signaled. The fact that you can unlock the phone in 3 steps annoys me. The portrait mode with the selfie camera seems a bit gimmicky for me. I find it hard to get used to this multitasking thingy, the gesture. And also, I have to say that some of the features here feel a bit buggy. I'm talking about the way the apps fit on the screen with a large space at the bottom, sometimes a large space at the top. So those are the pros and cons, and the biggest con would probably have to do with the video capture. Having seen the Sony Xperias in action and seeing how well they can film, I expected a bit more from this camera. Yes, Face ID is the future, but not right now. I'm looking at it right now and it has trouble unlocking with my face, so it's not exactly foolproof all the time, so you'd best be careful not to lock yourself out or something like that. Here we go, finally. It would be crazy to get locked outside. In the end, I will have to say that this phone needs a few bug fixes and then it can actually become the hit that Apple was going for. In the meantime, it's basically a more compact iPhone 8 Plus with a funkier design, a lighter format, and Apple is trying something different. But come on people, this stainless steel frame is like the Xiaomi Mi 6. It feels like plastic more than metal, and the gloss does not help it one bit. This area feels particularly cheap. If I were to grade the phone, the grade would be 8.9 out of 10, and the best things about it are Face ID, which is promising but feels like a beta, and the main camera photos. That's it from gsnrom.com. Bye bye.